Thank you. So hello, everyone. This is the 2022 review and Q1 2023 preview for our Implant Solutions vertical. I'm working within a new template here provided by Anna. So if there are any hiccups or it doesn't go smoothly, that's my very bad excuse. So we'd like to start with a few notable efforts from Q4. And so here I'm featuring the $99 Han implant Black Friday / end of year campaign. I think there's been some confusion and questions over what the results are. So I've tried to clearly capture those here and how they compare with how we've done in recent memory under our usual strategy where we're not discounting these implants. So during the Black Friday and end of year, which covers most of it falls in November and December, though we did kind of have it unofficially available during the last week or so of October. We had 136 new Han customers, and we also had of people who were already Han customers, we had 43 who added Han guided surgery. And then as far as bringing in new accounts, it brought in 56 new accounts to the company, and it created 33 restarts. Now, just to put that in perspective, in 2021, we had 272 new Han customers. And if you look at the bottom, you can see we had 429 during 2022. So that's more than a 50% difference. And you can see before we started the $99 promo, we had 193. So that's just kind of accounts for the 136 new accounts. But basically, we did what we'd normally do in half a year, we accomplished in 2 months. So it does appear to be a very effective strategy, and it will be something that we continue to do as a seasonal promotion. So we've gone back to our normal $168 price point, at least in what we advertise. But then we will be advertising the $99 packages probably 4 times on a sort of a quarterly basis to create a sense of urgency and like kind of just a limited time nature that at least I believe is part of the effectiveness of the campaign. Number 2, last quarter, we fully got off the ground our promotions that are targeted at people who attend our webinars and who participate in online continuing education. We basically have 6 versions of these for 6 different products, including Han implants, DTP, Newport Surgical, Inclusive Mini, and Glidewell implant solutions, which is just kind of a general one if someone attends something that's more of a very broad topic. We found these, they've only been running for like two months or so, like fully running. We managed to get 24 sales leads for Han, so that accounts for about I want to say between 15 and 20% of all our Han sales leads, which is, I think, really good considering how small these lists are. They tend to be around 1,000 for webinars, and for continuing education, they can be just like a few hundred at most. And digital treatment planning sales leads, we got 5. I know that number seems small, and it is small, but that represents, again, like 15 to 20% of all our leads, despite the smallness of the lists. And one thing we do see is just that these have by far the highest open rates of the e-blasts we send out in implants. 13 of our 14 highest e-blast open rates come from these types of emails, and the click rates are also far above average. What we'd like to see is the promo redemption rates catch up, which haven't been as high as I had hoped, and that's something we can try to fine tune as we continue sending these out.
Yeah, and Keith, I just want to add, I've been seeing these, and I appreciate you doing these because, as education, we're doing the long qualifying process here. We generate so many leads, and we have so many people that are interested, but at least the team that I'm responsible for, we don't we don't have the manpower, take the initiative to do exactly what you're doing. So I really appreciate it. And these will lead to something in the long run for sure.
Yeah, it's certainly increasing brand awareness a lot because their
Yeah.
open rates are just like astronomical. So at a minimum, it's increasing brand awareness, and we are seeing some conversions, but again, it's just not at as
Yeah.
high a rate as I'd like to see.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Andy. And here is the slide that killed my weekend last weekend. It's just one slide, but crunching all these numbers in Tableau is very difficult, especially for me. I'm not a Tableau expert by any means, and Tableau is very slow, as anyone who uses it would be able to attest to. So this basically breaks down our different products within the Glidewell Implant Solutions vertical and shows how they performed. So there's no graphics here, so try not to fall asleep as I go through these numbers. But so I broke HON into two categories, one for pre-Black Friday and one for post. So pre-Black Friday, we had sales of about 334,000, 97 orders. 36 of those were cross sells, 5 were restarts, and 5 were new customers. And then you get into Black Friday, and here's where you see these numbers really jump in many of these metrics, which is why we're going to continue to execute this strategy in 2023. We had 57 new customers, 35 restarts, 181 cross sells, and sales from the campaign were about 1.2 million. Just note that this does not account for the revenue of $99 HON implants sold to existing customers, which I think was around $1 million, but I don't know that we brag about selling implants at a lower ASP to existing customers, which is why I didn't include it. And then we have custom abutments and screw retained crowns. We had 403 cross sells from those, 2 new accounts, 12 restarts. Those numbers are low, so we have some ways to try to bump those up that I'll get to later. Sales from campaign was about 1.8 million. These costs are very much estimates, so I wouldn't take these costs too seriously. But I just wanted to note that real quick. And we also, I think our cross-sell numbers are probably bigger than these, than what this says here for custom abutments, screw retained crowns. I've been working with Nolan on this, but it seems like Tableau is not properly flagging new customers to like something like a Brooks or screw retained crown. And we're trying to fix that this year so we can have better reporting and metrics on how well we do with our implant lab advertising and converting people from other areas of our lab into the implant lab. Then we have Bruxer implant prosthesis, 44,000 from that. I know the market cost looks high there. That's because a lot of the advertising we have done for that traditionally, including 2022, has been in journal ads, and those are pretty costly. We only got 8 orders directly from advertising. We don't have mailers for Bruxer implant prosthesis. We do emails, and we do some post online CE emails and post webinar emails when that topic comes up. But this number, with all those caveats, is unacceptable in my view. So we're trying a new strategy with the Bruxer implant prosthesis in 2023. We should be able to do better than this. So we're going to try out a more aggressive strategy in 2023. Digital treatment planning, we had $6,700. Again, that's a very low sounding number, and it is a low number. But I should note, like historically, that number has been 0 until late Q3, Q4 of this year. We didn't really have a way to have someone redeem a promotion for digital treatment planning that doctors would actually use. But now we have them filling out jot forms like we do with HON, which we originally started doing with Glidewell.io, and that's a advertising strategy I borrowed for the implant vertical. And so we did have 7 cross sells, and those are the result of the jot form. And again, just historically, ever since I've worked here and ever since we've marketed digital treatment planning, we've never been able to attribute a single sale to DTP. So I consider this an accomplishment, even though that number is so small. Newport Surgical, we had about $309,000 in sales, 110 cross sales, 10 new customers, and 9 restarts. I think those numbers are actually really good if you compare them with other products in the vertical. Like those numbers are higher than we see for our implant lab advertising. So Newport Vertical, I think, is very good. I'm sorry, Newport Surgical is very good at bringing in customers and cross-selling customers, because we don't advertise it nearly as heavily as we do for something like Han or for Implant Lab. Yeah, I think there's another slide that I accidentally skipped. Okay, inclusive prosthetic components, we had about $330,000 in sales, 41 cross sales, 9 new, 10 restarts, kind of similar to the numbers and those metrics that we see for Newport Surgical. Inclusive minis, we have 1 new account, 2 restarts, 6 cross sales, about $50,000 in sales. I should note here that both of these restarts are from our post online CE, so that seems to be our best medium for converting customers in mini implants. Implant overdentures, this is something new we started doing last year. We don't advertise this that very heavily, which you can see by the low marketing cost. It's not one of our quote unquote Buffalo products, so we don't focus on that much. That being said, we are advertising it more now than we did prior to 2022. And we will be, along with all these products, we'll be advertising it more in 2023 due to our new General Implant RX book, which I will be touching upon. Just to kind of review our marketing efforts in 2022, particularly the fourth quarter, we continue to market Glidewell implant solutions, the sort of umbrella that goes over our educational, surgical, and restorative solutions. This is the essential part of our brand, that we're basically a one-stop shop for dentists who want to excel in implant dentistry. So these are not really campaigns that you can track, because it's such a wide range of products, and we don't really target these towards people. We just try to raise general awareness of our comprehensive implant solutions. But something we need to continue to do, because this is just, it's the essence of our brand. We got to keep getting that message out there. Han tapered implant system. I touched on this earlier. I just wanted to show a few more examples of what we were doing. We had the jot form established in Q3 for Han implants, and having that was an important foundation to getting traction with this $99 campaign. We got something like 140, 150 leads from this during the Black Friday campaign, and a nice chunk of those were turned into customers by Rob's sales team. We also, increased our presence at events. This is not an actual picture, it's just a mock-up of something we've been doing at shows. We print these banners to try to drive people to our booth, and we're doing more of that in 2023. And this one on the far right that's just one of our post online CE e-blasts, and as I mentioned, that brought in something like 25 leads. Digital treatment planning, I already went over those numbers, but this is, we are now pointing to our jot form to generate leads for Elon's team, and all our ads, whether it's a print ad, an email, or social media post. And that's something we're going to continue to do, and it will be an essential tool we need to create new customers as we continue to launch new DTP products in 2023, which I will get to later. For implant restorations, this is another one. I went over these numbers. We kind of need to look at our variable RX books, which is one you see with Dr. Kaczynski here, to see if our targeting is optimized and that we're catching all the cross sells that we're really getting in our metrics. And so we continue to e-blast, stuffers. The implant lab is obviously very important to our business. It's the biggest chunk of the implants vertical. So we will continue to find new ways to promote that core part of our business.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
I just quickly, can you go back one slide?
Sure. Here?
The image on the right with the implants, custom abutment, and then natural prep crown. Is that like just the image of the natural prep crown that we always use for just the Brooks or lifetime warranty?
No, well, the idea is that that's the crown that would be delivered over the custom abutment in the middle.
Well, yeah. So do we need to change that image to like actual implant crown?
Yes, if you're I'm not a lab technician, so yeah, but I mean, now that you're pointing that out, yes, if that's not obviously a cementable implant crown, we should fix that. And I
Yeah,
can
that
make a
looks
note of
like a
that.
cementable, just a natural prep crown.
Yeah, I can make a note of that to get that fixed. Thank you for pointing that out.
It looks like number 14 too, not 30. Abutment says 30.
Gotcha. All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you, Darius. So Bruxer implant prosthesis, we did launch a new sort of transformation series ad. The ad you see on the left is the old ad. We had been running that for a few years. We were long overdue for an overhaul, kind of inspired by the patient edition of Chairside. We had all these great before and after photos. We created a new ad where we just show the life-changing effects of the Bruxer implant prosthesis. And we, similar to DTP, we're trying to point people to landing pages for these now. And we will have a much more aggressive landing page, which I will get to later, because I don't think the results that we can directly tie to our marketing efforts were anywhere near satisfactory in 2022. And we want to change that this year. So moving on to 2023, this is kind of a bulleted list of our key initiatives. The digital treatment planning portal update and product enhancements, I should probably say product launches. That I put that at the top of the list. Digital treatment planning is not our biggest product, but it is our fastest growing product, and we have the most aggressive growth goals set for that product, or that group of products in our forecast for 2023. This, especially lately, is just eating up a ton of, I work with a lot of people in our organization, including Darius and Elon and our designers and Jen, our project manager. And this is just really starting to eat up our time, and for good reason. We'll be launching what we're calling multi-level surgical guides this year, and a few other things like immediate screw retained crowns. And it's just a ton of work, because the My Account portal we use to accept these cases is super complicated, and it needs to gather all the information we need for Elon's team to create these great digital treatment plans and surgical guides that his team provides for customers. So this is taking up a lot of our bandwidth and is kind of slowing everything else down, especially at this moment, because we need to hand those changes to IT. We're actually meeting with them on Monday. And so that's going to be eating up a lot of our time the remainder of the quarter, and I wouldn't be surprised if it stretches into quarter two, though we will be launching the multi-level guides like kind of like a soft launch, but we'll be talking about it and accepting cases, and we'll have some advertising collateral on hand at the March Implant Symposium.
I'm sorry, when did you say you would launch it?
So, right, we're going to have speakers at the March Implant Symposium. Like, I believe Dr. Patel's presentation is going to be featuring the multi-level guides with the immediate provisionals. So we will have like sales flyers on hand, some literature, technique guides, and things like that at the symposium. But I'm calling that a soft launch because I don't believe that the fully overhauled DTP portal on My Account, I don't think it's possible to have that ready on time. So like the hard launch would be after that. So we will be able to accept cases, and we currently are accepting cases right now, but it's just the portal isn't optimized to receive that.
Okay, and then you said on Monday you were going to submit your requirements for the new portal.
I'm meeting. We are meeting with Tammy, me and myself and the DTP team. We're meeting with Tammy on Monday, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but I'm giving them our full wish list, which is extensive and I think very time intensive. But I'm also giving her a sort of plan B, that for something like, oh, maybe we can look at doing this as an interim solution until the major overhaul is ready. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think when dealing with IT, you could phrase something as a wish list. I think you have to do it as a set of requirements. This is a product that's really critical for our implant program to go forward,
Right.
and that these are the requirements that we have. When you submitted that, let me know, because it's an important part of our strategic goals for 2023. So once you've submitted, and I would submit them as a set of requirements, not as a
Yeah,
wish
so what I
list.
mean is that they're both required. So the overall set of the overall list of changes, and we've mocked up what each page should look like. We're presenting those as requirements, but if they tell us that's going to take 4 months, which I won't, or more, which I won't be surprised if that's what they tell us, I'll say, okay, can you do this shorter version of changes that would at least like keep the wheels turning while you work on the major overhaul?
Okay, but I wouldn't jump to plan B too quickly. I would. I mean, usually we phrase those as must-haves versus nice-to-haves, and I mean, it sounds like your full requirement is a must-have in order
Yeah.
for the customer to have a good experience.
But I think there's a second must-have, and the second must-have is that we're able to accept cases before the symposium. And I will be shocked if they say they can do the full list of must-haves by March 24th. So I'm giving them a sort of Band-Aid that they can put in place that would at least enable us to accept those cases without doing a super like workaround.
Okay.
And if you want to be at that meeting, Dr.
I
Park,
think
I'd be
Stephanie will help us in. I mean, it's a
right.
matter of prioritization for IT, and I think Stephanie will help us get the appropriate priority here.
Okay, yeah, I think she has mentioned that, and I know you mentioned you could also help, which I appreciate. It's just
I can
even
only
if
help
they
by getting Stephanie to help. I'm no help.
right. Well, I just think even if they drop everything and put a team on, put their full force of their team on it, I'd still be surprised it was ready before symposium. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay. All right.
So
sorry to interrupt.
no worries. I appreciate your sort of some support and demand that we get action on that front, because that's definitely what we're going to need to get all these enhancements made. So the next item on the list is the more aggressive promotion for the Bruxer implant prosthesis that I mentioned earlier. And another big priority is to make sure we are converting all of these new HAN customers that come from the $99 HAN implant campaign into customers both for our implant lab if they aren't already, or we want them using it more if they are already, and into DTP customers if they are a HAN guided customer, which
yeah, I think another thing to follow up on is, are they making additional implant purchases? Right.
Right.
Because those were very expensive customer acquisitions for us. And we just want to make sure that they continue to be customers.
And I can work with Nolan on that. Thank you. And then, of course, I think a lot of people are actually, I'm not sure if people outside of marketing are aware that the verticals for our various implant symposia that we're doing this year are responsible for executing the creative. So that's what a lot of the people on the implant team, we've been working on our hardest to try to fill seats for the implant symposium events. So I had mentioned that we have a new Glidewell Implant Solutions RX book. This is a vehicle for prospecting new customers and cross-selling existing customers. It basically promotes all of the key products in the implant vertical. We had something similar to this going until October of 2021, and we pulled it due to some confusion over the metrics we were using to track the promos. But we took a closer look at that, and there was just we had some mistakes going on with activating promo code. So we overhauled the thing, updated the branding, brought it back. We sent out the first run. I think it was in the first week of January. So we'll be able to look at that data next quarterly presentation and see how it did. But this should, I think, help all our products a lot, because it's a big mailer, it's a big mailing. And we haven't had a prospecting implant RX book in, as I mentioned, over about a year and a quarter. And flat rate lab fees is a new campaign that we just started. This is a new stuffer you see on the left. We're just, our goal here is to raise dentists' awareness of our flat rate lab fees for the implant systems that are covered by Inclusive. And that's a stuffer we're doing, so there's no discount there, but we are going to do targeted emails that are based on the same concept and go to people who are not using our implant lab, and just being very visible with the implant systems that we support with flat rate lab fees. And a related effort on that front is we are launching 18 new inclusive systems in 2023. In the first quarter, toward the end of first quarter, we should see this. I know it's might be hard to read, but the green section for number 1 that should be coming out in toward the end of the first quarter. And when those come out, a nice thing we'll be able to do is we'll be able to send emails to people who use those systems who we were previously charging fees because we had to use original equipment manufacturer parts, letting them know that they are now going to have an inclusive price moving forward.
What does the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mean?
Well, they're submitting them for FDA approval in batches.
Oh, I see. So that's a list of things that are upcoming.
It's basically phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4,
Okay.
phase 5. Though it's my understanding that this has all been accelerated so that all 5 phases take place this year.
So you mean we don't currently offer parts for all those systems listed on the right?
That's correct.
Okay, good.
So we currently charge them a fee because we have to order the parts, and we'll be able to, as we go down this list, we'll be able to inform all those customers that they won't be getting charged those fees anymore. And that's a good part to just get out the story of why we manufacture our own implant parts, because it helps lower our costs, which we can pass the savings down to the dentist.
We do offer a product for this, just OEM components, not inclusive.
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. Is that right? We charge them an extra fee because we have to pay for the part.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, and we won't have to do that anymore. So. And we should have a list of all the dentists who have sent us cases like this. So this will be a nice targeted marketing we can do for this audience. So I talked about this before. We're overhauling the DTP portal, and then we have, I want to say it's 20 plus projects to support that, because there's lots of technique guides, checklists, customer communications, and things like that. So this is just a huge priority, and we're going to give it the attention it warrants to make sure we can have a smooth launch and continue to grow our DTP customer base. Cross-selling new HON customers, this is something I mentioned. This is just a visual of that. I've used this graphic before, but business synergy, our implant business feeds our restoration business, it feeds our DTP business. We have just lots of data that shows that people do use the HON implant, do twice as much business with our implant lab. About half of our DTP customers are HON users, and 41% of Newport Surgical customers. So we're trying to do the best we can to make sure when someone becomes a HON customer that the other products in our vertical benefit from that, as they have in the past. And then again, overhaul. I know I'm almost running over here. We're overhauling our BIP, our Bruxer implant prosthesis advertising. We're going to start using a jot form, which we've always seen in improved results. We've done that with DTP and HON, and it's made a lot of difference. We're also going to be offering a very aggressive promo, 50% off their first case, as well as a patient education model and course. And we are going to be vetting these jot form responses to make sure that this doesn't go to existing customers. So they won't receive an email with the promo until we've had a chance to confirm that they're not an existing customer. And then I've mentioned marketing implant symposia. We've been doing a lot there. So our standard promotions that we've done in the past, we've also been targeting people who've taken online CE or webinars with us, so we can make use of those valuable lists that the GCE team has been nice enough to develop for us. And we do have we're continuing working on an AAID Maxi course for launch later this year. That hasn't been officially approved, but it seems to be on the right track. KPI summaries, again, I'll try to fly through these. Our revenue was about 21% of the enterprise revenue, which is almost the exact same it was in 2021. We were 2.5% below forecasts and 7.6% increase year over year. And this is for all, I think you guys know this, but this is for all products in the implants vertical, both Prismatic and Glidewell Laboratories. Our enterprise active accounts were up 1%. I'm sorry, enterprise active accounts were up 1%. In implants, we were up 4%. So I think we're nudging in the right direction there. That accounts for about 38% of the enterprise accounts. For new accounts, we were up 9%. The enterprise number there is 5%. So I think relatively speaking, we did pretty well. And that represents about 15.5% of new accounts for the enterprise. Restarts, we were pretty much flat. The enterprise number was negative 13% here, so we think we're doing pretty okay in implants, relatively speaking. And last year, we represented 14.8% of restarts, where this year we represent 17%. So on that metric, we are moving in the right direction. For cross sells, we were up 13%. The organization was 6%. In 2021, we had 19% of cross sells. So again, that's another area where we're seeing a little bit of an increase, which we like to see. And then I think, yeah, I'll just go through these emails really quickly, but we're just doing a ton of emails now we've managed to get a lot of productivity without adding headcount, which I think is a good thing, although it's a little stressful. We sent a total of 70 emails in the fourth quarter. That's twice as much we did in the third quarter and 3 times as much as we did in the second quarter. And then if we just talk about open rates, as I mentioned before, the post online CE and webinar are by far our highest open rates. And besides that, we had really high open rates for our symposium announcement, which I think reflects the most opens for our symposium eBlast, which shows the continued interest in our live events. And number one click rate was for a $99 Han implant campaign, cross-selling existing Han customers to Han Guided. And then I mentioned this before, but for direct mail, our RX books, we want to continue looking at our metrics and refining our list to try to boost our cross-sell new account and restart numbers. And we also, Anna did a great job of showing the effectiveness of UTMs during her presentation. I saw that too late. It's a great idea. So my next presentation, I will definitely be reporting on our UTM data, which will be very important because we're using fewer promo codes. We're consolidating our promo codes, so we'll have to use UTM to track the effectiveness of individual campaigns. And sorry for going over, Heather. I think you said you only had 20 minutes anyways, but if anyone has any questions, maybe if you could reach out to me personally, just because I accidentally went over.